Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
This is Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Central Texas Life, the podcast. Ann Harder here. Gonna talk about jazz music, one of my favorite things.
Oh, yeah.
Greg Bashara, who is a longtime friend, jazz musician, and we have via Zoom Rob Holbert from Dallas, Texas.
Hello, everybody.
Big-time jazz musician who is going to be the featured performer at the April 22nd concert of the Waco Jazz Orchestra. Tell me about that, first of all, Greg. Tell me about that show.
Okay. What we do in the spring, the Waco Jazz Orchestra likes to do our concert at the Waco Hippodrome. First of all, it's a very classy and iconic venue in Waco, and we always like for that to be our kind of commercial show where we make it just absolutely entertaining with vocal and all kinds of instrumental tunes that the audience knows and loves. And so this year we wanted to collaborate with Rob. We've had him before on a Christmas show. I think 2016 was
it's been a while.
Yeah. And he's a fabulous entertainer, great saxophonist, and great vocalist. So we're looking forward to this show quite a bit. Well,
and Rob, I understand we all three were Richfield Rams.
That's
So
right.
you went to school here, and you and Greg were at Richfield together, right?
Yes, we played in the, all of the bands there at Richfield and had some really good times there. Enjoyed every minute of it, and we've remained friends just for ever since the 10 or 15 years that we've been out of high school.
Oh, yeah.
At least, should I say?
He was an amazing saxophonist then, and didn't know he was quite the singer,
Oh, okay.
We didn't know that back then because, there was no reason for him to sing in our jazz band. But, man, he was a great player. He was one of our featured soloists even back then. And then the first time I saw one of his shows here locally, he started singing. I went, what? Where have you been hiding that?
Where have you been hiding that talent?
Yeah, it's great.
So tell me, Rob, about your musical career. When did you pick up an instrument? When did you find out you were a singer?
Well, as far as playing the saxophone, I started that way back in the 7th grade. And I'll tell you a little funny story of how that happened. When I was a kid, I played piano and violin and viola and drums. I love drums. I had a drum set and everything. But when I got into the 7th grade, my band director at that time was Thomas McLean at Moore High. And he and my dad were really good friends. And McLean was a saxophone player. My dad loved the saxophone. And so I believe that he talked McLean into talking me into playing the saxophone. Because when I walked up in my little line and he asked me, "Little Holbert, what do you want to play in the band?" And I said, "I want to play drums." And he looked at me and just said, "Saxophone." And he just moved me out of the way. And ever since then, I've played saxophone. The singing part, I don't classify myself as a vocalist. I sing because I have to. It's just one of those things. But I started singing many years ago with my jazz combo. We were playing a private event. And we did mostly smooth jazz and straight ahead jazz, all instrumentals. And this lady walks up during the break. He goes, "You guys sound great. You're awesome. Yeah. but does anybody sing anything? And I said, well, I know the words to My Funny Valentine. And she said, sing that. And it just stuck. And ever since then, I've been singing.
That's great. Sometimes it's just a little bit of encouragement, a little nudge, you know.
Well, even back in the big band swing days, vocalists were featured.
Sure.
Right.
Glenn Miller. I mean, all the famous bands of the day would feature singers.
What's that? Doris Day got her start. You know, a lot of those wonderful
So
entertainers
we've
were
kind of
big band
followed that
singers.
model. I think this is our 7th springtime show at the Hippodrome, the Waco Jazz Orchestra, and we've always enjoyed featuring a vocalist.
Yeah. Well, I remember when you did the Divas.
Yep.
You had that was a great
was a
great
great
concert.
show.
That was a lot of fun.
We've had a lot of wonderful memories there. So.
Oh yeah. Okay, so favorite tunes and what will we be hearing on the 22nd?
There's going to be a nice variety of stuff. April is a Jazz Appreciation Month. So I believe we're going to be doing April in Paris.
Oh, okay.
So that's a classic.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple of really neat vocal tunes that will feature Rob. There's I'm Just a Shy Guy, which is a little bit ironic. But
Like not really.
right. He'll pull it off for sure. But what's one of yours that you're enjoying, Rob? What are you liking?
Well, actually, I like the Lou Rawls song. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine.
I can hear you
I
doing
think
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Rob's
that this
voice
particular-
fits that perfectly.
Yeah.
And so we've got a really good arrangement of that. Been rehearsing it, and it's going really well. And some other interesting things that Rob will be doing as a combo with just the rhythm section gives the band a little bit of a break. So those will be fun. There's a jazz tune called Cold Deck Time. You're going to be doing Unchained Melody, which that'll be vocals. And
That's a good one.
And that's a good one. So we're going to touch on a little bit of everything that hopefully the audience is going to recognize these songs.
Yeah.
And that's what
I basically wanted to do the Unchained Melody because there's a story behind. Any really good song has a story behind it.
Oh yeah.
I always like to tell the audience how that song came about because a lot of people, when I do it here in this area in Dallas, everybody's heard it, but they always go, "Oh yeah, I heard that song in Ghost," and they think that that's the first time the song was ever done.
Oh
And
my
I have to
goodness.
tell them, yeah, for real. They think that, and I have to tell them, no, that song is older than most people.
Yeah.
And then I tell them the story of how the song came about and how the Righteous Brothers actually made it kind of famous, when they first recorded it. So I give them that story because I always like to give the audience a little backstory on some of the tunes that we do.
Yeah, it just
Give them
makes it richer. Yeah, I do. In fact, I do a little thing at Baylor for lifelong learners.
Sure.
Greg, you played
And
on
I've
that with
played
me
with you.
before, where I would research,
at the
about
Mayborn.
12 tunes,
Yep.
but talk about the lyricist and the composer. And yes, some of the stories behind those guys are poignant, but yeah, it does. It just makes the enjoyment of that song then have a little bit more impact.
It makes it a lot more meaningful.
Yeah.
And people find out things they just go, well, the song's always been around, and why? Mm-hmm. So I think I'm glad he's going to be doing quite a bit of that.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, the audience will love that. Well, Rob, I want to hear more about your career. Okay, so we know, you went to school in Waco. What after that? I mean, how did you train? Who did you study with? And
I actually went to MCC there in Waco, and with
great
with
music
Dave
program.
Oh, excellent music program.
That's
I
great.
loved it. Dave Hibbert, of course, was my
Yeah.
real instructor, I guess, because he did all the casting. I
Yeah.
left there and went to North Texas, and
That's
studied
another
almost everybody.
fabulous program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and eventually ended up in St. Louis. And here's where the story kind of goes off the rails, because when I moved to St. Louis, I had the idea that I was going to play in the jazz clubs up there, but life will throw you some curves.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting married and all of that, and the music career just kind of went away. I eventually moved back to Houston, and I thought, well, I'll pick it up now. But I had a son. We had a child, And so I had to work and do all those things like that. So the music career kind of fell by the wayside up until around 1995, maybe. I had remarried actually, and me and my wife and we've been together now almost 30 years. Um, we were sitting around watching Kirk Whalum
Oh,
on
yeah.
TV, playing with Whitney Houston, I think. And I was telling her, "Oh yeah, I remember Kurt when I lived in Houston, and we'd hang out and go to, that sort of thing like that." And she
Hmm.
asked me, "Well, why did you stop playing?" And I told her what happened. And to truncate the story, she said, "Oh, that's crazy. Go get a horn," because I didn't even have a horn.
Oh,
Didn't have
really?
a horn. No, I
You'd
didn't even have
gotten
a
Oh,
rid
horn.
of
wow.
your instruments. Oh
Yes, I
gosh.
did. Yeah, I was not going to play music anymore.
Oh.
And so I went out and I bought a little student model horn, and I was just kind of playing around the house, doing nothing. What really wasn't planning on pursuing music anymore, but God has ways of, putting things in your life.
Yeah.
So I got a phone call about 2 weeks later saying, "Hey, we need a saxophone player." It's actually my cousin. We need a saxophone player at this place called BJ's Bistro in the Bishop Arts District. And I complained and told him, "I haven't played in 20 years, man. I'm not going to do that." But anyway, he talked me into it. And so I went down there and I sat in. They called me back the very next week. "Can you come play again?" Make a long story short, it just snowballed from there.
Yeah.
I ended up playing down there every week. And then I formed my own band, and it's just been rolling ever since. It's been a blessing. I've
He's
been
he's got
playing
a
for
great
years now.
band up in
Right,
Nebraska.
right, and
Wonderful.
I was kind of listening in to some of
Yeah.
the as I was getting ready for this. But you've played with some amazing groups. The Average White Band, Alex Bugnan. Is that how you say it?
Oh yeah,
Jazz band.
these are the Average White Band. I didn't play with them. We opened for them.
Uh
That's
huh.
one of those. Yeah, we opened for
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Some of your performances.
Right,
Bobby
right.
Bland.
Yeah, Bobby
Yeah.
Bland and Alex Bouillon. He's a smooth jazz artist.
Very
Hmm.
cool.
I'm trying to think of what else is on there.
Oh,
Some
it's
of
just
these.
jazz artist, smooth jazz artist, Aletha Renee,
Yeah,
Joe
Althea
McBride,
Renee. She's
Benita Arterberry, Yarborough
right.
Peoples. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Ed Shaughnessy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, he
that was
was
Well,
the
back
former
when we
Tonight
were.
Show drummer.
That's
Yeah,
a,
and
yeah.
then we showed up again at another place, and he was there, and we were,
Uh-huh.
playing with him. So that was kind of neat, to see him again. But uh, my band, even though I don't call myself as a popular person. I guess I am sort of, but we've opened for a lot of artists all over the country, basically. And I just listed a few of them there on the website. I need to revamp
Yeah,
that because
your web page is great. And what I'm trying to look up, you had some great quotes on there, and I thought I had printed them out, and of course I had not. But yeah, this is something I wanted to have you elaborate on. You say, "I uncovered my passion for music during my very young years." We've talked about that. "My dad and mom were both gifted singers, and their gifts were passed down to me and my siblings."
yeah, yeah. That's a funny thing. My mom played piano. She read music and everything. Was a really good pianist, and she sang in the church choir. She was a soprano.
Mm-hmm.
My dad had a beautiful, beautiful baritone bass voice, and he would remind you of a Billy Eckstine type
Really.
person. But he never pursued music at all. He just had a great voice.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, that's how I became involved in music. As a lot of musicians, you start there in the church, and I played all the little instruments in the church, the bells and the auto harp and whatever,
Yeah.
those sort of things like that. And it just carried over through life. I've always been a firm believer in the arts, even if you don't pursue a career in music, because that's not for everybody. But if you can take a child and let them learn music and learn an instrument,
Absolutely.
that carries over into other parts of their lives.
Oh,
Because
amen.
because it takes critical thinking skills
Mm-hmm.
to
Well,
do that.
and your mom, dad made sure, because you said you had started piano and some of the
Right.
stringed instruments as well.
Right. I
Viola,
played
did you say
violin and
violin
viola.
and viola?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
obviously your parents were really on the ball when it came to
They
making
were.
sure you had that wonderful gift in your life, truly.
Right. My sister went to college. She majored in music and all of that. She sang with the Houston Grand Opera
Oh my
forever.
gosh.
Yeah, she did that for a long, long time. Traveled the world with them. It was just in my family. That's
Wow.
just how, yeah, music was everywhere. That's what it was.
That's good. Well, you say everything in life can be communicated through music. Love, anger, happiness, sadness. Music is emotion. Without it, there is no life. Live jazz makes life worth living. What do you think about that, Greg?
Oh, that's absolutely it. And the essence of jazz is improvisation, which is pretty much what we're doing right now. This isn't scripted.
This is not scripted.
Nope. And which is great.
Yeah.
We just share as we think of something. If it's on our heart, we share it. And that's what you do with the horn, or even jazz vocalists with scat singing.
That's to me as a singer, that's scary. I just have a hard time just I have let me just say, I have admiration for scat singers because you have to be able to just
spontaneous composition.
And imitate a horn, so you're going to scat sing.
I think a little.
Yes.
Yep. There you go.
I love it.
Probably happen.
It'll probably happen. It usually happens at a jazz show.
He mentioned opening for Average White Band. We're doing one of their songs.
Oh, are you? Which is?
Pick Up the Pieces.
Okay.
So that's a great song.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
Hi, I'm Caroline.
And we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff. Serial killers, true crime, rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros, Foes, Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And I'm Carter.
And this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, streaming January 25th, only on Netflix.
So Ed Shaughnessy, huh? That goes back to our high school days. If you want to hear that story.
Yeah, I want to hear the story,
okay.
Sure.
So we, when we were in the band together there at Richfield, we went to Tri-State competition in Enid, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And one of the 3 judges was Ed Shaughnessy.
Get out.
And, you know, maybe we didn't know that at the time, maybe we did, but always after the fact, you get to read the comment sheets of the judges.
Yes.
Well, the Richfield Jazz Band that year, we won Tri-State. We won the competition in our division, and Ed Shaughnessy's comment and nickname for us was the Cooking Mothers. That was our name.
Yes.
And we owe it all to Ed Shaughnessy.
Ed Shaughnessy,
the famous Tonight Show drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Oh man, I love that. That is a great story. Those high school memories that kind of stick with you the best.
We had a great band. It was wonderful.
Yeah. You say, I find inspiration all around me. I try to make my music representative of myself and my generation. I love the places that most people don't give a second glance. Talk to me about that, Rob.
Well, let's see. The people around me, and let me back up a little bit. Inspiration for music comes from the world around me. You know, I can be in a location playing, and I will see things going on that makes me want to play or sing certain songs. And I'll give you an example. Several years ago, I was in Dubai. And when you said, music being universal, it's a language that everybody understands.
Sure.
It truly is. We were playing and had actually finished playing, or were on break. I can't remember now, but this gentleman walks up to me and wants to know if we could play Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He barely spoke English, but that let me know that music touches everybody.
Yeah.
And so you can take that and make that part of your creativity, if you like. I like doing that. Some of the best times we've ever had were improvised due to the people around us, because we have to play to the audience, if you want to call it that. And it's inspirational because, like, for instance, when we're playing in Waco for this concert, I hope we have a big crowd. I want them to have a lot of energy because they'll get that same energy back from the Waco Jazz Orchestra and myself. So that's kind of what that means.
It's a give and take for sure.
Right. It's a give and take.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's going to be a great show. Excited about it. Give me some of the particulars about how folks can get tickets and all that sort of thing.
They can go to the Hippodrome website, wacohippodrometheater.com, theater with a R-E.
Yeah.
And buy the tickets online. The concert on April 22nd will be at 7:30. I'm thinking the doors will probably open an hour ahead of time instead of 30 minutes ahead. It gives people plenty of time to get settled and come in. And there will likely be tickets available that day as well. But to get your best seats, we really would love to encourage everybody to buy ahead of time.
Yeah.
And like Rob said, we would love to have a full house. This is going to be a reunion of sorts for us. Maybe more than of sorts. It's definitely going to be a reunion because another good friend of ours, Evan Claris, was in that same jazz band with us.
Oh, yeah.
In Richfield.
Oh, yeah.
And so we all get to collaborate again.
Yeah.
On the same stage. So it's going to be full circle.
Well, you mentioned Evan. Let's talk a little bit more about the jazz orchestra itself. How long have y'all been playing together? I mean, I know Dave Wild plays keys. For
Sure,
y'all.
yeah. Golly, that's a good question. As far as when I can't remember the year WJO began, but it's well over 20, 25 years easy. And Evan and I, Rob mentioned starting saxophone in 7th grade. That's when I started playing saxophone.
Yeah.
And so Evan and I really met in junior high at Lake Erie Junior High.
Oh, yeah.
And I started
Was Faye Smitherman teaching music there at the time? Was Faye Smitherman teaching music? She was my choir teacher at Lake Erie, yeah.
That's right. She was in the building just next to the
round
band hall.
building, yeah.
That's right. And so
the band hall was on the other side of it.
My band director was Norman Friedel.
I remember him, yeah.
And I started on clarinet the whole 7th grade year. I came to the band hall at the end of that year, and I'm listening to the jazz band play, and I said, he walked over to me after they finished. I said, how do I get in that band?
Yeah, I want to do that.
And and he looked at me, he goes, well, we don't use clarinets right now, but I've got an opening for tenor sax, so go home and tell your mom, Dad, you're going to take summer band, learn tenor sax, and I'll tell the counselors. And I'm going, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and it happened just like that. Was my fork in the road.
That's great.
And I kept playing clarinet and concert band, and I played tenor sax and jazz band all the way through, and I still play clarinet today. So in dance bands, pickup gigs and whatnot.
Yeah,
so
well, you do a lot of just dinner
instrument.
music, and you and Evan kind of have a duo. You can play at the Hilton.
Yeah. So Rob
Pretty
and I kind
regularly.
of got directed to saxophone in similar stories. It's like, you're not going to be a drummer, you're going to be a saxophone
You need to
player.
play sax.
But I was really grateful for that moment.
Yeah. So how many are in the Waco Jazz Orchestra?
18.
18 players?
Yep.
Okay.
There's 5 saxophones, 4 to 5 trombones, that can vary, 4 to 5 trumpets, and a bass, drums, keyboards, and guitar.
Yeah.
Rounds out, and directed by Noah Alvarado. He does a great job with the band. So we have
great musician.
great bunch of guys that come together once a week to rehearse on Monday nights.
Yeah, where do you rehearse?
At MCC.
Okay.
We under the auspices of MCC. They're one of our sponsors.
Yeah.
And we utilize their facility to rehearse in.
That's good,
And we
because
also
you
use
got a big
their
group. You
stage.
can't very well meet in somebody's garage with that many.
No.
You
We've
got to
done
pass that.
We've
Oh,
all
you have done that.
Yeah. It's a lot more fun in the building.
Yeah.
But we do our other 3 concerts during the year at the Ball Performing Arts Center there on
There
MCC
at
campus.
MCC.
So that works
Yeah.
well. And this is our, one concert that we like to do at the Hippodrome, as I mentioned. And
Well, of course, downtown
love it.
Waco is a hip happening place
Yeah,
now.
and I'm sure
And
glad
there are
that-
great places to eat
You bet.
right there around the Hippodrome. Make a
Come
lovely
early.
evening. Yeah, make an evening
Make
of it.
Total evening of it.
Yeah. There's a lot of great music happening in Waco, and Greg,
It's a good
I
time.
appreciate you and how you share your
Thank you.
talent, and
Thank you.
Rob for coming back home.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Love it. I absolutely
for this
love it.
concert.
Well,
Looking
thanks for visiting with
Well,
us.
I'm
Getting the word out.
I love doing this, but I do a little thing at the end of these.
Okay.
It's a little questionnaire.
Oh.
It's similar to the one that the late great James Lipton would do on Inside the Actor Studio. So I'm going to ask you guys these questions to end our little chat together. What is your favorite word?
Rob, you can go first.
You can go first, Rob.
My favorite word.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, I don't want to sound corny, but it kind of varies between peace and love.
I love it.
Yeah, because that's the love for the one thing is what, and I hate to say this because it sounds so contrite. That's what we need in the world.
Yeah.
Everywhere I've been, if there's love, everybody seems to get along.
Yeah.
Regardless of your differences, you still get along, and that's what we need.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite word.
Another, mine would be probably between imagination and creativity.
Okay.
Which we use both in music and in every area of life. I think nothing comes to fruition without first the you're imagining or having the vision for it. So we had a vision for this concert.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be great.
You bet. You bet.
Okay, so what's your least favorite word?
That's a good question. Discouragement.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah.
And something that you always have to overcome, whether, we're not supposed to compare ourselves, but we all kind of do from time to time. But, overcoming things that get in the way of our creativity or imagination.
Right.
And,
Okay.
and try not to be discouraged in that process.
Go, Rob.
Well, hate to sound corny again, but
You're not corny.
hate. I mean, because everybody, there's so much of that goes on now, and then people, I'm on social media a lot.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, I hate this person or I hate that.
Oh, I
person.
know.
Yeah, come on now. Let's stop with the hate. You know?
Let's stop with that. Okay, so a little deeper now. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Making music. And that does sound
I'm glad
corny.
to hear that.
That sounds a little corny, but
no, it doesn't.
I can be having a rough week or a rough day. You get on a gig and not even 30 minutes into it.
Yeah, you're enjoying life.
It just kind of buoys you up, and kind of at the end of the gig, you're going, what was my problem?
Yeah.
That's happened to me a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you look at things totally different afterwards, and music just goes to that place.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like brownies. I don't know. There's
okay.
chocolate brownies.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob, what about you?
I have to say the same thing.
Yeah.
I've been, even though there was a period of time in my life when I didn't play music, I was still a musician at heart.
Yeah.
And so that's my happy place.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm, just like Greg said, if I'm not feeling all great and everything's kind of wonky, I can come in my little music room here and make music.
Yeah.
Or I can go play a gig and make music. And it seems to bring peace and tranquility to me.
Back to
personally.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what turns you off creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Closed-mindedness. That
I've heard that before.
Yeah, and that may sound trite, but
no, I know a lot of people have.
And with
my way or the highway. I've heard that.
Yeah, so it kind of gets in the way of, helps feed the discouragement. Then you got to go find a gig to play to get feeling better. but I guess it'd be that.
Yeah. Okay, Rob.
Egos and self-centeredness. I mean, that just drives me crazy.
Yeah,
and
that's a turn off.
Yeah, you see a lot of that in the music business.
I'm sure.
Where people will come in and their egos are like up through the roof, and you can't tell them anything. That's a turn off to me. I'm sorry. Let's make music.
Yeah. What other profession would you have liked to try?
Writing.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
All right.
It has a creative element to it.
Sure.
And also, not to bring back up imagination, but you being a journalist, you're.
Well, I'm in awe of writers of books, because I think, man, what would it take to, and then to come up with a plot, and particularly novelists, how do they come up with that stuff?
I might not have done fiction, but more documentary kind of things.
Okay.
Real life stuff.
Yeah. Rob, what about you?
As crazy as it might seem, I would probably be either a lawyer or a politician.
Okay.
And the reason for being a politician is because I think that I would be able to influence the political system to where it would benefit people and not just rich people or big business and things like that. I like speaking up for the little guy, put it like that.
Yeah, good.
So I would probably be a politician.
Cool. Well, what profession do you know or job you know you would never want to have? And I've heard all kinds of things.
Yeah, I bet. This is a good question here. Rob, I'm going to defer to you. I'll go second.
A profession I would probably never
A job
have.
you would not want to do.
Another job. Let's see. I don't know. And it's kind of hard to say. The first thing that comes to my mind is being a doctor.
Yeah, I've heard that before too.
Yeah,
People are like,
I
appreciate doctors, but I could never do that. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and I do. I mean, and I respect what they do and their talents and their strengths and everything. But I'm, I guess, a little bit too empathetic.
Yeah.
And, their pain becomes my pain, and I would probably be a little bit too emotional behind it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. 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 I have to say, one of your musicians is Charles Stern, who is a doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And in fact, he's the one that kind of coordinated this whole thing happening. So a shout out to him.
I wouldn't want to be a judge, probably.
Ooh, yeah.
That would be a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it would. It'd be tough. I'm glad we have them.
Well, you have to.
Somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. What do you want to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well done, my good and faithful servant.
That's scriptural.
I would love that. That would be great.
Yeah, same thing here.
Okay.
Same thing here. Welcome home, my son.
That's right. Welcome home.
Yeah.
Well, got some great music to play before that happens.
That's right.
So we are excited to let folks know about the April 22nd concert at the Hippodrome.
And thank you for
Waco
your help.
Jazz Orchestra. Yeah. Rob Holbert, thank you so much for joining us from Dallas.
So much
Greg Bashara.
Right.
Look forward. It's always good to see you. So
same.
I've had a wonderful time.
We have to.
Yeah. Thank you guys. And thank you for watching. Yeah. Join us again next time for Central Texas Life. Bye-bye.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder is part of the Rogue Media family. Be sure to check out our other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate this show 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.